Hi golfers, Nick here for Nick Taylor Golf. It's Friday, so welcome to another lesson on golf tips. This week in golf tips, I have Frenchie. She's back. You may have met her a couple of months ago. We did a video just updating her progress. She's back in the bay today. We're going to be talking about her progress over the last couple of months, what things we've been working on, what drills we've been working on to help her play better golf, and hopefully help you guys out there play better golf. So let's have a look at Audrey's swing. She's not wearing a mask at the moment, she's exercising. Looks really good to me. So we're going to be talking about the things we've done in previous lessons to help her play better golf. Okay, on the screen behind me here we've got Audrey's swing. This was just after the previous lesson. I don't know if you remember, we're using the smart ball to try and keep her arm straight. So a couple of things Audrey's been struggling with is the club face being open and also the finish position. So I'm going to talk through you guys what's happening in a swing at this particular point here. So in the downswing, if you look on the left hand side, you can see the hand path here starts to move outwards and the face is very open at this stage. So from here she's only going to do one or two things, either swing across the ball or try and somehow close that face, which is really hard to do. So by the time we get down to position 6 where the shaft's parallel, you can see the club head here just moving outside of her hands, starting to move out to in. And then by the time we get through to the finish, she's keeping her arms pretty straight, which is what we've been working on. But you'll see how by the time she finishes the golf swing here, if I take a line from the center of her hips upwards, you'll see her head's pretty close to that, her shoulder bend's not backwards enough. So at this point she's overturning and not extending backwards enough. So this is something that can help with the club path. It can help shallow out the angle attack, help swing from in to out. So in today's lesson we're going to work on the things that we did after this to help her improve her golf swing. Okay guys, so we're just going to talk about the backswing position here, how we changed her left arm position, how we changed her wrist position. Okay, so at the top of her swing, her left wrist was starting to cup this way, which opens the face. Hand palm was starting to move outwards, so she was swinging outside to in. So the drill we worked on, if you swing to the top of the swing again, this is a tough drill, but it works really well. So as Audrey gets to the top here, I'm just going to move her left arm into the position it should be in and just change her wrist position here. So flex this wrist, you can see this changes the club face here. So that closes the face, this opens the face. So by closing and flexing her wrist, it closes the face, and moving her arm in is going to really give her the feel of where she needs to be in the swing. So let's hit a shot, Audrey. So I want you to swing back slowly. I'm going to move you into the position, just exaggerate it a little bit, and then from here, just try and hit a shot. So from there, she's hit the ball. Now, that's a tough drill to do, but it made such a big difference. So we got into this routine where we would practice that every shot. And then she would start to do that on her own, where she would start to swing back, change her position, and then swing down. And it makes a big difference to where the arm position is and where the club face is in the golf swing. Okay guys, so you've seen the drill there. Like, how did you find that, Audrey? Was that easy to do? Was it quite tricky?
It's a bit tricky at the beginning, yeah. Yeah,
I know I've worked with that a few students, and to stop and then swing down, it's really difficult. But just take a look at the difference here. So on the left hand side, this is the swing we looked at a second ago. You can see the left wrist here. If we take a look at that wrist position there, let's zoom in here. Take a line up from the forearm here, you can see the wrist is starting to cup here. Now on the left hand side, this is after we adjusted that position, it's pretty flat now. So if we take a zoom in there, you can see the difference in the wrist position, how this affects the club face. And then if we start the swing down on the left hand side, so this is roughly the same position. There's a big difference here in the club face. You can actually see the grooves here on the face, whereas on the left hand side, that face is very open. So from here, like we said, it's only going to go one way. It's going to move across the golf ball to try and hit the golf ball anywhere, somewhere near the target, you know. So as we start this swing down with the drill, you can see by the time we get to pretty much where the left arm is parallel, we call this position 5. This is quite a key position in the golf swing. You can see that, let's stop it there. If we take a look at where the shaft is here, it's going through kind of the middle to top of the bicep as opposed to the neck. So it's a big difference at this stage. And then as we come down, we're going to start to see a difference here in where the shaft is at this stage. Again, you can see it kind of going through Audrey's ear at this stage. And then by the time we get down to this stage, you can see the difference in the face angles more shut here. This one's quite open. So that made a big difference to help her close the face and hit from the inside to draw the golf ball. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the finish position and what we worked on. So in Audrey's finish position, she tended to, at the finish, kind of lean forward with her upper body and start to lose balance. Also, her right foot started to sort of twist back and she struggled to extend her legs. So the best players in the world, as they move through, they push their hips forward, extend backwards, tilt their right shoulder down, and this foot position should move slightly inwards. So the weight should finish kind of on the inside of the right toe by the time you get to hit. I see this with a lot of golfers in their finish position. They kind of, their heel moves back, their weight stays back. And that can affect low point and also the club path. So now we're going to show you the drill we worked on to help Audrey. So for this drill here, you're going to need a water bottle. I'm just going to place this just outside of her right foot here. So guys, whenever you're making a change, it's really important that you practice it first. So what we would do in the lesson is actually do plenty of practice swings, and then we would actually look at the video and those practice swings and just to compare the difference. So by placing the water bottle there, it's going to give Audrey the feeling of moving her right foot inwards, banking it inwards, and moving it slightly more towards the target. It's fine if your foot moves slightly towards. What you don't want is that heel to move back and hit the bottle. That means your weight's moving too far back. So Audrey, let's do a few practice swings here. So I want you to swing through to right arm parallel. Excellent. So as you can see here, Audrey's right foot here is banked inwards, hips are pushed forward, arms are straight. This is another good drill to help with our arms being straight, because you can use this as a checkpoint. Sometimes in the golf swing, if you stop at a certain position, you can check that, make sure that your arms are straight. So this is a really good drill to help with making sure she moves her hips forward, making sure she moves her weight forward, making sure she extends and pushes off with that right foot. Let's try that again. Very good. And one more. Excellent. So she's doing a really good job here. So now we would take a look at that practice swing before we hit the next golf shot. What we're going to do here is hit a golf shot, trying to get that same feeling with her right foot, trying to get hips forward, trying to make sure she doesn't overturn and lean forward too much in the finish position. So when you're ready, Audrey, let's hit a shot. That was awesome. How did that feel?
Good. Good
that
contact.
was really good.
Yeah.
You can hear the strike on there, you can see the shot was really good. So let's now take a look at that video and see what the difference is. Okay guys, so we're now going to take a look at the difference between the previous lesson and in today's swing that we just looked at on the video there. Bear in mind, Audrey's been playing 2 years. If you didn't see in the last video, I'm going to post that video if you don't mind. And this is something she's always struggled with.
Oh no.
I do apologise now. This is something she's always struggled with, is her finish position. She's always had this tendency to move her weight back, and that swings across the golf ball, moves the low point back. It's just a weaker way of hitting the golf ball. So this is something that we've been battling for a period of time. But I'm just going to show you guys the swing here, what happens through impact and what happens into the finish position. So as we take a look at the swing here, we're going to take this through to the finish position. So we saw this swing earlier on the left hand side. So by the time we get into the finish position here, you can see the difference in there's motion sensor numbers there. So on the left hand side, Audrey's overturning and she's not extending backwards with her body. So you can see the numbers here. We've got shoulder turn 154, that's way above the tour average in the finish position compared to 132, and then you can see the hip turns 119 compared to 97. The shoulder bend is basically referencing how much backwards your shoulders are. So on the right hand side there, you can see she's more backwards than she is on the left hand side, and that's going to help her maintain her balance. You can see the difference in the right foot position as well. We wind this back a couple of frames. You'll see the difference in the kind of where the right foot position is on the left hand side compared to the one on the right. This is a good feeling to help keep pushing the hips forward, to keep extending the legs and bend backwards to hold your balance in the finish. Okay guys, so just to finish up here, Audrey's now going to try and attempt both these drills at the same time. So she's going to try and stop at the top, get her wrist in the right position, get her left arm in the right position, and then as she finishes, trying to extend, move away from the bottle, start to bend backwards, hold her finish, make sure she overturns. So that looked really good, Audrey. So hopefully you guys have learned some things from watching today's lesson. It's great to work with such an amazing student like Audrey. She works really hard, she practices a lot, And I think that's really important. I think people underestimate how difficult it is to change your golf swing. Audrey tends to take a lesson once a week. And how often would you practice, Audrey?
3 times.
3 times a week she practices. Generally she probably plays 2 or 3 times a month, which is good as well. But for a new golfer that's been playing sort of less than 2 years, she's really worked hard at a game. You can see the changes you can make if you practice and put the effort in.
The most